Everyone in the bar laughed when the waitress spilled water on table 6. No one knew that just minutes later, she would save a Navy SEAL's life with words no one understood and a skill no one could explain. The Anchor's Rest was a small bar in North Virginia, near a Navy SEAL training center. On Friday nights, the bar was filled with tired soldiers, off-duty and ready to relax. It smelled like beer, sweat, and cigarettes. The air was heavy with the weight of stories that were never meant to be told. Behind the bar, a quiet woman moved from table to table. Her name was Lena. She was 32, with brown hair always tied back in a ponytail. Her apron was old and faded, and her eyes carried the weight of something hidden. She barely spoke. When she did, her voice had a slight European accent, almost unnoticeable. "Ice water, no lemon," she would say, then she would vanish back into the shadows of the bar. Lena was invisible. The loud customers, many of them Navy SEALs, never paid her much attention, and she liked it that way. One waitress, Marcy, didn't like her much. "She acts like she's defusing bombs, not serving drinks," Marcy joked. "Probably got her heart broken by a soldier." Lena never responded. That night, table 6 was different, for Navy SEALs sat there, laughing loud, drinking hard. One of them, a tall man named Clay Martinez, looked especially tired. His hands shook a little as he reached for his beer. Lena noticed. She noticed everything. She brought them their next round, placing the bottles carefully on the table. Her eyes paused on Clay's hand. His fingers looked pale, the nails slightly purple. His breathing was fast and shallow, like he was hiding pain. "Thanks, sweetheart," one of them said. "You're quiet tonight." Another joked. "Always quiet," Clay said, forcing a laugh. But that laugh turned into a wheeze. Lena stepped back. She watched closely. Clay rubbed his chest. "Just tired," he said. "Brother, you okay?" his teammate asked. Clay tried to smile. "Just need some air." Then, it happened. Clay's eyes rolled back. His body collapsed forward, hitting the table before crashing to the floor. The entire bar froze. People screamed. Glass shattered. Chairs scraped. Someone yelled, "Call 911." Panic took over the room. No one knew what to do, but Lena did. Not panic. She stood still for 2 seconds. Then, she dropped to her knees beside Clay. Her face didn't show fear, only focus. She pressed 2 fingers to his neck. No pulse. Clay's heart had stopped, and the clock had started ticking. Everyone around was frozen. The bar manager tried to call 911 but couldn't remember the address. The bartender was speaking too fast for the emergency operator to understand, but Lena wasn't panicking. She acted fast, like she had done this before. She gently laid Clay on his back, checked his breathing, skin color, and vital signs like someone trained to do it in war, not in a bar. Then, out of nowhere, she shouted, "Open 117 kilo. Switch to echo routing now." Everyone turned to look. What did she just say? That's not how you call for help. Is she going crazy? People tried to pull her back, but she ignored them. She picked up a metal spoon from the table and put it inside Clay's mouth. It was a medical trick to stop seizures and protect the brain. No civilian would know that. Then she ran behind the bar, grabbed ice, wrapped it in bar towels, and used phone charger cables to tie the towels to Clay's body. She was lowering his body temperature, an advanced method to protect the brain during cardiac arrest. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. One of Clay's teammates stepped forward. He had a ranger tattoo, clearly experienced in combat. Tried to help, but Lena stopped him with just 2 words, "Don't touch him." Then she added, "He's a black echo and he's not done." The soldier froze. His face turned pale. Black echo. That was a secret code. Top-class military. Term used only in classified operations. Something no civilian, especially not a waitress, should ever know. Who was she? Lena began chest compressions, but not the kind they teach civilians. Her moves were precise, strong, and perfectly timed. This was advanced combat CPR, used only by medics in war zones. A paramedic rushed in and shouted, "Ma'am, you need to step away and let us handle this." Lena didn't stop. Her voice was calm and firm. "Shut up. I've got him." No one argued. Everyone could see. This woman wasn't guessing. She was remembering. Her hands moved with experience and knowledge. She wasn't just trying to help. She was saving a life. For 90 long seconds, she gave perfect chest compressions. Then, a sound. Gasp. Clay took a huge, painful breath, like someone rising from underwater. His eyes opened. He looked around in confusion and fear. "Stay down," Lena told him gently. "Don't sit up. Your heart just stopped." For 97 seconds, the paramedics arrived fully now, carrying stretchers and gear. They expected to see someone drunk or injured, but instead, they saw a man who had just come back from death, who performed CPR. One asked. Everyone pointed to Lena. She stood up slowly, untied her apron, and folded it neatly. Her hands were steady. Not a single shake, no signs of stress. Are you a doctor, EMT nurse? The paramedic asked. Lena replied softly. I used to be trained in emergency response, but now, I just clean tables. And just like that, she walked toward the door. Wait, one of Clay's teammates called out as Lena reached the door. Who are you? How do you know that protocol? Lena paused. Her hand rested on the door handle. For a moment, her calm expression cracked and something deep, almost painful, showed on her face. Then she walked out into the night. Just like that, she was gone. The paramedics worked quickly to stabilize Clay for the hospital. As they loaded him onto the stretcher, one of them whispered, whoever she was, she saved his life. That CPR wasn't just good, it was military-level trauma response. The SEALs returned to the bar the next night. They wanted answers. Where's Lena? They asked the bar manager, Pete, a gruff ex-Marine. She quit, Pete said. Came in early this morning, cleaned out her locker. Left her apron on my desk. Paid for everything in cash. No ID, no paperwork. What about her past jobs? References? Pete shook his head. Said she'd been out of work for years. But I hired her because she knew how to stay calm around drunk soldiers. Girl had discipline. Should have known there was more to her. The SEALs weren't done. They searched through military databases. No record of Lena. Then they ran facial recognition. And a name came up, Helena Vostrich. The file was almost completely blacked out, but they learned a few terrifying things. She had once been part of a top secret NATO medical unit, ****. Her service number didn't match any civilian record. Her record was sealed, ***, erased from normal military systems. The deeper they dug, the darker the truth became. Black Echo Division. A program for medical experts trained to work in extreme combat zones, where even regular doctors couldn't survive. The unit had been shut down after a failed mission in Syria in 2017. Helena had been the only survivor. The mission was a disaster. Radio silence, no rescue. Enemy attacks. She had kept 3 critically wounded soldiers alive for 18 hours. In a half-destroyed hospital, when help finally came, they found Helena still working, performing emergency surgery with broken glass as tools, parachute cord as stitches, and using her own blood as a transfusion. She hadn't slept. She hadn't eaten. She didn't leave the patients, even when bullets hit the walls around her. After the rescue, her records were sealed. She disappeared. That's when she became Lena, the quiet waitress. Back at the hospital, Clay woke up in the ICU. Teammate Wells sat beside him, holding a tablet with Helena's secret file. Clay asked, "Who saved me?" Wells replied, "Someone who was once left behind, and now refuses to leave anyone else." Clay frowned. "What do you mean?" Wells leaned in. "The woman who saved you. She's a ghost. Officially, she doesn't exist." Then Wells told him everything. The Black Echo mission, the abandoned hospital, the blood transfusions, the survival. She saved 3 men with no gear, no backup, no chance. She kept them alive because no one else would. Clay stared at the hospital ceiling. Why would someone like that disappear? Wells answered softly, because when she called for help, no one came. She learned something that day. The system doesn't always work, but she still trusts herself. Just then, a Navy hospital corpsman arrived with a small envelope. "This was left at the front desk for you," he said. Clay opened it. Inside was a small note in perfect handwriting. Greater than asterisk, the code never really dies. Asterisk, greater than, and on the back, greater than. 117 kilo protocol. Use when standard methods fail. And time is critical. Way looked at Wells. "She's telling us that this knowledge can't stay buried." "No," Wells said. "She's telling us that being forgotten doesn't mean you stop being who you are." The corpsman hesitated before leaving. "Sir," he said to Clay, "the woman who left this note, she told me to give you a message." "What message?" Clay asked. The corpsman replied, "Greater than," she said. "Some protocols aren't written in manuals. They're written in the hearts of people who refuse to let others die on their watch." Clay folded the note carefully and placed it in his hospital gown pocket. "We need to find her," he said. Wells shook his head. "I don't think she wants to be found, but I think she wants to be remembered." Remembered for what? For acting when it counts, for not waiting on permission. Within a week, the story had reached the highest levels of military command. An emergency meeting was called behind closed doors, the kind of meeting that happens in windowless rooms with high security. Everyone wanted answers. Asterisk, how did a former medic erased from the system save a life when trained personnel froze? What happened to the 117 kilo protocol? Should it be brought back? Helena or Lena wasn't invited. She wouldn't have come anyway, but she sent a message through secure military channels. "I didn't act because I had permission. I acted because I know death has a timer. Rank doesn't." The room went silent. After 4 hours of debate, the result was clear. Reopen 117 kilo protocol. Study it, restore it, train the next generation to use it. All because a waitress refused to let someone die. Back at the bar, things slowly returned to normal. Marcy, the other waitress, Trained a new girl, a nervous college student, who jumped every time a glass broke. You know, Marcy said one evening, Lena used to fold napkins like they were medical bandages. Thought she was just OCD or something. She paused, then added, that first aid kit behind the bar. She stocked it better than the ER downtown. I asked her why once, and she just said, you never know when someone might need help. The new waitress found Lena's old apron in the back office. Inside was a small laminated card with emergency medical steps written in tight, perfect handwriting. Advanced trauma protocols, way beyond anything taught in civilian first aid. On the back, one handwritten line. Greater than asterisk when seconds count, rank is just noise. Asterisk Pete, the bar manager, pinned the card on the wall behind the bar, next to photos of local service members and a small American flag. Maybe someone else will need to know this someday, he said. Outside, a black car drove away. In the passenger seat, a brown-haired woman looked out the window one last time at the bar. Helena had returned to make sure they understood something important. Greater than some, knowledge is too important to bury. A week later, Table 6 had fresh white flowers and a small American flag. Clay came back on medical leave, walking slowly but with purpose. He placed a small wooden plaque on the table. The engraving read, greater than asterisk to the one who wasn't scheduled but showed up anyway. Asterisk, the plaque stayed there forever. Customers asked about it, and the story spread. And among SEAL teams, a message quietly circulated, greater than if anyone tells you, 117 kilo was deleted. Tell them about the woman at table 6. Helena never came back. But one morning, staff found a new medical handbook in the bar's medicine cabinet. Not a civilian guide, a full trauma manual with advanced protocols. On the last page, a handwritten note, greater than asterisk, when a heartbeat stops, the only thing left is time, and you'll wish someone knew how to use it. Asterisk, 3 months later, Clay received one last message. No name, no return address. Just one simple line. Greater than asterisk, some people leave the system because it failed them. Others leave because they refuse to fail it. The difference matters. Asterisk, greater than HV the bottom was a final note. Asterisk, 117 kilo isn't just a protocol, it's a promise. Greater than the right person, the right moment, the right knowledge. That's all it ever was. Asterisk, Clay framed that message next to his medals. Not because it was an award, but because it reminded him of what truly matters.